Hello everyone, my name is Mark, and in this video I'm going to try to bring you a strategy that I think works pretty well on the final boss of Gears of War 3 on Insane difficulty. Now, the three things you're going to need to beat this boss with my strategy are 1, a Retro Lancer, 2, a normal Lancer, and 3, a whole lot of patience. And I say a whole lot of patience because this boss is sometimes really cheap and there's nothing you can do to stop yourself from dying. Sometimes you'll get swarmed by the Queen's Guards and the Shriekers, and there's honestly nothing you could do to stop it. So just make sure you're pretty patient and realize that if you die, it may not be your fault. So getting on to the strategy. The first thing that I want to cover is how to get a Retro Lancer, because a lot of the enemies on this mission or in this last part of the game don't have one. So as you'll see in this video clip that I'm showing you right now, I'm in the hallway where Adam Phoenix can be found. On the left, this door on the left, if you're facing the door that he's in, there is a Retro Lancer on the ground. Make sure you walk in and pick it up, because that's the last Retro Lancer that you can find in the game. So make sure you get that. So now that you've gotten your Retro Lancer and you're fighting Myrrah, the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you know what weapon to use at what point in time. When Myrrah's really close to you, use the Retro Lancer. Although it's really inaccurate, the Retro is going to be doing much more damage on her from a close distance. And let's say you only hit 20 or 15 of the shots in the clip, those 20 or 15 shots are going to be doing much more damage in the time it takes to fire them off than the normal Lancer would be doing in that same time period. So don't worry about the inaccuracy. Sure, you can try to pepper it if you want, but I just fire it off, as fast as I can. That's what you do when she's close to you. But when she flies away from you, make sure to just use the normal Lancer, because it's much more accurate. You're not going to be getting any hits with the Retro, and at least you're getting something. The next thing I want to point out, which is probably really obvious, is to try your best to get active reloads. As you'll see throughout this video, I don't necessarily get active reloads all the time, but it will help you out tremendously, particularly because the speed at which you beat this battle in is really important to how difficult it is for you. Or it's really important in determining how difficult it is for you. And that's really more important in the second half of the battle than it is the first half of the battle, but it's still, nonetheless, important. The next piece that I want to cover, which is applicable to both the first and the second halves of the battle, is that when Myrrah flies from one position to another position on the big circular rooftop, do not, and I repeat, absolutely do not go get ammo. It seems counterintuitive, and it seems like this would be the best time to get ammo, but it's absolutely not. And the reason is because right when she flies from one location to the next location, she's going to fire off her big solar beam attack, as I like to call it. And you won't have enough time, if you are far away from an ammo box, to get to an ammo box and get behind cover before she kills you. So absolutely do not get ammo at this time. The times when you're going to want to get ammo are the times where it's really just in between all her shots. And that's because, while you don't have much more time than when she's flying from one location to another location to get ammo, you are presumably closer to an ammo box and closer to a piece of cover that you can use in these time periods. If you're not close to an ammo box, then just use your other weapon, because remember, you have 2 rifles here, so hopefully both of them are empty. If they are both empty, then just use your sidearm until you can get close to an ammo box in order to get more ammo so you can keep whittling her down. Now on to the second wave of the fight, and holy shit, this part sucks. And I say it sucks, not because Myrrah is any different. In fact, she does the exact same thing she did in the first half of the fight as in the second half of the fight. So if you've got that pattern down, then you're good for the most part. The part that gets really tricky here is that a bunch of Queen's Guards and Shriekers, or the little flying circle enemies that blow up in your face sometimes, those guys swarm the battlefield. And that's really where the whole times of the essence thing comes in. I've been mentioning it, but this is really why it's important, is because the faster you kill her, the less enemies you're going to have to deal with while doing so. And because it's on insane difficulty, a lot of the enemies have so much health, so it's almost not feasible to try to kill the Queen's Guards. In fact, I don't think it's possible to kill all of them while also trying to kill Myrrah in a manner that allows you to succeed. The Shriekers, sure, fine, you can take them down, but not really the Queen's Guards. However, I know you're probably thinking, well then, how the hell do I stay alive? And that's kind of where the patience and luck aspect comes into this battle. Sometimes you honestly can't. If a Queen's Guard runs up to you when the Tempest is shooting off its solar beam attack, and you have to be behind cover and you can't move, then there's nothing you can do to stop it from chainsawing you. There's absolutely nothing. So try not to have that bother you, but realize that it probably will happen, and that this battle may take a couple tries even with the best strategy out there. The one thing you can do to protect yourself from all these enemies is to target them with your, by marking them for your teammates to kill. Now, I should add that while this may be successful in some of the instances, or in, hell, many of the instances when you target them, it's not going to be successful in all of them. Sometimes your teammates and the AI are just fucking stupid and awful. I remember one time when I was fighting this boss on this recording session that I died because I targeted a Queen's Guard. All three of my teammates ran to the Queen's Guard, and they did nothing. They didn't fight it, they didn't do anything to it, and the Queen's Guard just continued to shoot me from behind its piece of cover until I died, which was very quickly because I'm playing on Insane. So, while you can try your best to stop them, it may not always work. So now, moving on to the part of the battle that I think you require the Retro Lancer for the most, and that is when the Tempest flies onto the tower that Adam Phoenix is in, and she starts bashing it. In this part of the battle, you want to get the Tempest off of that tower as quickly as you can. So that's why the Retro Lancer becomes so handy. It has such a wide range, or a wide, area in which it hits, or its shots will hit, that you can essentially cover its entire back with the fire. And even with the blind fire, you can blind fire the Retro and hit its back almost with perfect accuracy throughout this entire portion of the battle. So it will allow you to move around quickly while firing, and it does a lot of damage because you're not going to be missing any of your shots. So it's essentially like having a perfectly or a Retro with perfect accuracy, which is great. Another thing to note is that if you get active reloads on all of your clips, you can take this boss off of that tower in 2 to 2.5 clips, which is pretty awesome. It's really fast. However, even if you don't have active reloads, you can take it down in 3 to 4 clips, which really isn't all that awful. It's a pretty simple way to get it down. It's going to take much longer if you use the Lancer or any other weapon. So I definitely recommend using that's why I recommend the Retro for this fight more than anything else. The next thing you're going to want to make sure that you do while fighting this boss is that when you do get it down, when it falls down and you have to hit it with the Hammer of Dawn, make sure that obviously you swap out one of your weapons for the Hammer of Dawn, but right when Queen Myrrah gets back up and flies away, you switch back the weapon you dropped. You switch back and you get it again. You drop the Hammer of Dawn because you're not going to need it until you get her to fall down again. And you want to make sure that you have your Lancer and your Retro so that you can hit Myrrah from all distances and eventually whittle this boss down enough until you kill that bitch and she's fucking done forever. And you've got your goddamn Onyx Medal to prove for it. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you're able to use it to beat Queen Myrrah on Insane so that, I don't know, you can show all your friends you've beaten it, or just to have the personal satisfaction that you've beaten this game on the hardest difficulty it has to offer. I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful to you. If you did really enjoy it and you want to see more of my content, feel free to go ahead and click that subscribe button right on top of the video, or maybe on the annotation I'm leaving here. It will allow you to have easy access to all the stuff I put out. I put out stuff quite regularly, so if you enjoyed this, maybe you'll enjoy that. Who knows? And if you don't want to subscribe, that's cool anyway. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.